Welcome back, horror enthusiasts, and today we've compiled a list of the horror stories that will leave you sleepless for nights. These tales of terror have haunted readers and listeners for generations, and we're here to unravel their darkest secrets. So grab your flashlight, turn off the lights, and prepare to delve into the realms of the supernatural, the macabre, and the downright spine-tingling. But beware, these stories are not for the faint of heart. Sloss Furnaces, Birmingham, Alabama. In 1871, Birmingham, Alabama emerged from the ashes of the Civil War, ushering in an era of rebirth and infrastructure repair. Colonel James Withers Sloss recognized the demand for copious amounts of pig iron to rejuvenate the nation's crumbling foundations. To meet this need, Sloss undertook the construction of the Sloss Furnaces, which opened its doors to hundreds of workers a year later. These laborers faced not only advanced but perilous jobs, resulting in many tragic accidents, including fatal falls into the fiery furnaces. By the early 1900s, conditions deteriorated further under the ruthless foreman, James Slag Wormwood. His reckless pursuit of production led to numerous employee casualties. In 1906, legend has it that disgruntled workers retaliated by throwing wormwood into the very furnace he had overseen, a gruesome end to a tragic chapter. The Crying Lady in the Dakota. The Dakota, an opulent apartment building that graced New York City since its inauguration in 1884, welcomed a procession of illustrious residents, including John Lennon and Yoko Ono, who made it their home in 1973. In the days leading up to that fateful night, John reported witnessing a spectral crying lady ghost wandering the building's corridors following his untimely demise. Yoko, who still resides there, claimed to have seen John's ghost seated at his piano, reassuring her with the words, "Don't be afraid, I'm still with you." The Bell Witch, Adams, Tennessee. The Bell Witch saga, known to horror aficionados through films like An American Haunting and The Blair Witch Project, dates back to the early 1800s. John Bell moved his family to Tennessee's Red River, now Adams, Tennessee. Shortly thereafter, the Bell family began hearing eerie sounds, including dogs barking, chains rattling, rats chewing, and a woman. This enigmatic woman eventually became infamous as the Bell Witch. Local lore suggests that the Bell Witch is the vengeful spirit of a former neighbor, Kate Batts. Batts had sworn retribution upon the Bell family over a land dispute before her death. Tragically, John Bell succumbed to poisoning, and suspicions of the Bell Witch's involvement persist to this day. The Ghost of the Crescent Hotel. In 1886, the Crescent Hotel opened its doors in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. During its construction, tragedy struck when a worker named Michael lost his life, and his ghost allegedly haunts room 218. Later, in 1937, the hotel fell into the hands of notorious medical fraud, Norman Baker, who transformed it into the Baker Cancer Hospital, falsely claiming to cure the disease. Patients who perished under his care were entered into the hotel's basement, doubling as a makeshift morgue. Despite Baker's arrest in 1940, the spirits of his patients are said to linger within the hotel's walls, and guests often report apparitions and eerie noises. Sci-fi's Ghost Hunters even captured paranormal phenomena in the hotel's basement. Hug and Molly, Abbeville, Alabama. Abbeville, Alabama becomes an eerie place after nightfall, thanks to the chilling legend of Hug and Molly. Beginning in the early 1900s, a towering figure, shrouded in black, roamed the streets after dark, seeking unsuspecting victims. Once Molly'd singled out a person, she would embrace them tightly and emit a bone-chilling scream. Numerous accounts exist of people being pursued by what they believe to be Hug and Molly, and local parents have employed this tale to keep their children in line. Abbeville embraces its nocturnal guardian, proudly bearing the moniker Home of Hug and Molly, with a family-friendly restaurant bearing her name, the Cernsey House Ghost. The Cernsey family's paranormal ordeal unfolded in the 1870s in what is now Cernsey, Georgia. Members of the Cernsey clan reported witnessing objects moving inexplicably across rooms, hearing laughter and weeping sounds from unseen sources, and encountering menacing red eyes peering into their home, utensils twisted into grotesque shapes, and food flew from their plates. Townfolk speculated that these eerie occurrences were pleas for help from spirits who believed the Cernsey family held the key to their salvation. The day the Cernsey family decided to abandon their haunted dwelling, a fire iron purportedly levitated and struck one of the sons. No one dared to inhabit the house again, and it ultimately succumbed to flames in 1925. The Ghost of Bellamy Bridge. Mariana, Florida boasts a bridge steeped in ghostly lore. In the 1830s, Elizabeth Jane Croom Bellamy married local politician Dr. Samuel C. Bellamy. Tragically, on their wedding night, her gown caught fire, leaving her horribly burned. Elizabeth initially survived, but eventually succumbed to her injuries. She was laid to rest along the banks of the Chipola River, but her unyielding love for her husband kept her restless spirit lingering. Clad in white, the newlywed apparition can allegedly be seen near the bridge's vantage point. Despite its construction occurring after her passing, she appears to be engulfed in flames as she roams the nearby swamps or plunges into the river, as if attempting to extinguish her ethereal blaze. The Ghost of Deer Island. In 1922, Anthony Ragusan, also known as Mr. Tony, recounted a haunting tale in a Sun Herald column. He chronicled an incident from the early 1800s when two fishermen spent a harrowing night on Deer Island off Biloxi's coast, initially ignoring eerie sounds. They were eventually driven to investigate. To their shock, they claimed to encounter a headless skeleton that chased them relentlessly. Fleeing in terror, they hastily departed the island. According to legend, this spectral figure belonged to a pirate whose captain had cruelly decapitated him, leaving his body behind as a grotesque guardian to protect buried treasure. If you dare, let us know your favorite horror story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling content. Until next time, stay scared.